Okay, hi guys, welcome to the After Hours Chat. As you know, sometimes our conversations are lighthearted and sometimes they're a little bit on the heavier side. We thought that we would discuss what's happening in the Ukraine right now with Russia, the war that's going on, and I think I only have one Ukrainian person that I know. My husband is half Ukrainian, so he doesn't really count on that part of it. But Tetyana is here with us. She is from the Ukraine, from Odessa, actually. And she's going to talk a little bit about what's going on. If we do have questions, we can certainly ask her some questions. I'm sure some of us have our own opinions on what should happen or not happen. We're not here to be, we're not politicians by all means. And the opinions that the people are sharing tonight are our own, of course. So Tetyana, what's been going on? I think we're on day 6 of the war. 7. Thank you. I heard that today. So what's been happening and who have you been talking to? If you just give us a brief overview, and then maybe the ladies have some questions for you.
So the devastation is horrendous. You cannot even. I'm feeling like I'm just watching the horror movie, and this day will be over soon, right? Because it's impossible to even comprehend. Uncalled for, absolutely from nothing. This just happened like a big punch in the face in 1941 when Nazi started war in Europe. That's pretty much looks the same, feels the same. Whatever they do right now, they're doing the same thing. They're bombing the cities, they're women and children in all of the possible basements and metro stations. It's horrendous. I cannot explain it. I can't. I have few girlfriends in Kiev that I'm keeping contact with because they have children, and every second there is a siren, they have to run downstairs into the basement to hide. There is few people I talk in Odessa that's still my friends, classmates, just to keep in touch. They're only like sirens, but not bombing that much. Kiev is being bombed a few times. I have one of my classmates from college, 30 seconds from being killed. She ran away from the house that was bombed, so safe, thank God. And then Lvov, which is borderline with Poland, they're constant sirens, and now they're receiving all of the misplaced people into that area. Mm-hmm. Devastation is humongous. There's already over 700,000 refugees that are fleeing from Ukraine, and most of them are women and children, and men are asked to stand behind and fight for country. So I don't know if you have any questions, but for me, I'm like almost keeping my hand on my pulse. That's how I am with it. 24/7, I cannot sleep, I cannot eat. I'm constantly there. Like I can't even talk. So sorry. It's horrible.
Do you feel that some of the countries are doing enough for the Ukraine? What do you think that should be done more of? Like, do you think the US should be stepping up? Should Canada be stepping up more? Obviously, the Ukraine president, he's being looked at as a hero. What's your opinion on that?
On a presidential, yes, he is a hero. Everybody were super surprised because from the being just an actor on the stage, he became this guy who really have the back of his people, which is unbelievable to me. He was given a passage to fly from the country a couple of days ago to States, and he refused that, and he said, "Give me more ammunition. I don't need your ride," which was that's the thing, That's how you deal with stuff. So
okay, Tetyana, sorry, your iPhone came off. I feel like you kind of are a little bit in the Ukraine just because your phone is a little bit unstable. I know you're holding it there, but your camera just came off. Ladies, just one at a time. Do we have any questions that we might want to ask or voice our opinions on anything?
Kathy, I just want to say, Tetyana, from my family to yours, we want to give you like a huge hug for
thank you.
Surviving, for like all of us Canadians helping the Ukrainians, standing with the Ukrainian, and our hearts are with you for sure, and
thank
everyone
you.
in Ukraine.
Thank you. I receive unbelievable amount of messages, and I almost like funneled them through the little screenshots, and I sending those screenshots to all of my friends through the messenger, through the Telegram, through the WhatsApp, whatever communication I keep with them. That's what I do now, like every single day.
Tetyana, could I
Thank
ask?
you. Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt. Could I ask, what do you think that we could do here on the ground in Canada to help directly to the people in Ukraine?
I think donations through the various charity organization, Red Cross, whatever the armed forces, Canada is doing enough. There is lots of money right now poured into it. The only issue we have with this is everything is delivered to Poland, and there is no transportation to deliver from Poland border to actual city that needs them. That's the local kind of a thing. So I prioritize my donations. I did through the forces, army forces, but I did directly to people. I have a couple of doctors who are working in the clinics in Kiev. We transfer money to them. We through the PaySend or whatever possible, just directly to people so they can get medication, they can get diapers and you know, baby
Tetyana,
food.
if you don't mind me adding to this, so there are I don't know the number, but there's hundreds and thousands of people currently in the Ukraine who live with diabetes. The warehouse that stores the insulin in the Ukraine has been bombed. So there's a huge push amongst the diabetic community, particularly type 1 diabetic community, that is actually trying to get funds, get insulin, get donations to people in the Ukraine, because they will literally die. This is now become, war is one thing, this is now a humanitarian crisis, and people in the Ukraine will die if they do not get their insulin. So I didn't mean to jump in, but if you would like some resources for where to donate insulin, that would be most helpful for a lot of the Ukrainian nationals.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for being with us tonight, Tetyana. I cannot imagine the suffering of your family here and about your friends there. And as you mentioned, Canada is doing, or we are doing our part, but what more we can do to support? Tetyana already mentioned about the medicine.
This is the world issue. Everyone should pitch in, and that's what I'm shocked. If the Americans are always out there helping out everybody, why are they not stepping in? They are powerful enough to back up Russia.
That it's the issue because there is a maniac with the button on the nuclear. That's what it is. The issue is if the states will join the NATO and they will start doing anything related to this war, this cycle can press the button and we all will be over. So it's very difficult and very fine line of diplomacy. You have to know where to strike and where not to. Ukraine is receiving a lot of army supply through the sources from countries that are not in NATO, which is great. And the army itself are very strong. They're doing their best. Like we all in awe to see how much, and it's just blows my mind. There is, and what they do with the capture people that they capture, they feed them and they call their mothers, come pick up your child, because the child doesn't even know he went to war. They trick them. That's what they do. It's just unbelievable.
Wow. Mm-hmm. So what made Putin come all of a sudden decided that, okay, we're going to take over Ukraine? What does he want? What he tried to prove?
He wants Ukraine because
Why?
we have a huge history from centuries back that Russia is still thinking that we like Ukraine is the younger brother. As historically it's opposite, because the history started from Kiev Rus, and from that Ukraine kind of become, the spread of the other culture like Belarusia and the Russia. But he thinks the opposite, and he is KGB. What can you do?
But I heard also that he also wants Ukraine because of this pipeline with the oil.
No, the pipeline oil is his oil. He's supplying it to Germany.
Yes.
So Ukraine has nothing to do. He can do it through Belarus. It's not, it's not just that. He just has this internal hate for it.
So he's exercising his power.
Ego.
Yes, and he wants to do the Soviet Union back. His dream is.
So what happens?
Imperialism, imperialism. There is no democracy. There is huge propaganda on TV. People are so brainwashed. They still think that he's God. It's impossible.
Wow.
What happens to the Russians that are actually marching against him and protesting? He can't be taking that line down either.
They cannot protest. They're like forbidden to protest. If any kid in school will submit some kind of information what's happening in Ukraine in the Twitter or Facebook or something, 15 years in prison. That was announced yesterday. So they're doing everything in their power to shut up people. But all of the sanctions right now, they will suffer, really, really, really suffer, because sanctions right now are draining their banks. They will not have food. There is nothing in that country that they will survive. So they have to stand up and do something about it. Otherwise, I don't know, that country will be over.
What about if they have a revolution and get rid of him?
Oh, that would be great.
Yeah, we were saying
That's probably the way to do it, because otherwise, what's the Tsar without his people?
Yeah.
So that's right.
That's
so
bad.
If the people stop him, that would be great. There will be no war, right? But people are people are quiet because they're afraid, petrified.
Well, he made a huge economic change in Russia. He brought it to a superpower. So they're afraid to lose a super leader, but now he turns on them. So it's just very controversy. It's scary.
But the country itself is not that rich. It's not.
Well,
all of the oil they're selling, it goes into oligarch pockets, not to people.
Yeah, but they still have the resources, right?
Yeah.
But it's amazing to see how much people in Russia, they are against this war. And the more important cities like Moscow, people is manifesting and is in provoke peace. And also around the world, it's a lot of unity in favor of Ukraine, even from the Russian people. That is what I perceive in the news, what your friends said about it.
Yeah, it's not that many because they are afraid. Propaganda on TV. If you will see the television in Ukraine or Canada or the United States versus television in Russia itself, you would be just thinking, are they normal? Like, what is this news coming from? So they're bombing the city and they're showing, look what we're doing with neo-Nazi. They're killing themselves.
Wow.
It's unbelievable.
I think Ukraine's been underestimated. I think that Putin thought he would be further ahead in these last 7 days for sure. And definitely the country is standing together. It's amazing to see people men leave their children behind and just basically stand with Ukraine. So I think that, as Yasmin said earlier, we have all of our sentiments go to the Ukraine, and we're very sorry about everything that's happening. And we hope that this will be cut short and not be taken on for months and months. Does anyone have anything that they want to add? Maybe Tetyana, you can send me some links. Anna, if you have the link for the insulin that you want to put that in the chat box, that would be great. And we can certainly, lend our support that way. Let's see. Our producer's just asking a couple of questions. Do you think Putin is concerned about Ukrainian democracy?
Oh, hell no.
Okay. No? Is it hard to understand that everyone is part of the Slavic culture?
Who is part of the Slavic culture? Poland, we are. Czechoslovakia, we are part of that, but Russia, no.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it doesn't make sense to anybody why this happened. It just seems like he flipped a coin and said, we're going to bomb Ukraine. So been listening to a lot of Canadians on the news for sure that are living there. They're doing the best that they can. But Becca, Genevieve, Eureka, I haven't heard anything from you guys. Are you good?
Well, I just want to say that I feel it's like being in a bad dream. You know, when you're in a dream and everything, nothing makes sense, and you're trying to actually grasp like what's happening here. That's how I feel. And for me to be able to express full on my opinion, and it's just because I actually don't really understand, and nobody does. That's the thing. I've been asking and asking. I've been watching the news. I've been talking, and then nobody really understand what's happening because nobody saw it coming. So I'm sorry, even if like our president, like United States, nobody saw it coming. I'm looking at this and I feel like, you know, when we went to war, like with after 9/11, you know, we knew what happened in 9/11. You knew all the threats. We knew what we were doing, but now it's like it's just crazy. I just feel so sorry, and my heart goes for Ukraine.
Thank you so much. It started in 2014 when we overthrown the government, and then they tried to put Lugansk and Donbass, which is borderline with Russia, under their thing just to grab something, and then the annexation of Crimea. That's what happened. And I think for all of those years, plus COVID didn't help. The COVID isolated him, and he just become like more maniacish, you know, during those 2 years, to the point of building this plan, and that's what happened suddenly. The guy is not normal. That's not normal.
Just yeah.
So Tetyana, I would ask you as a Ukrainian, what is your hope? You know, it's because it seems so hopeless. And me coming from the other side of a world, a small little third world country, as a citizen, what is your hope?
What is my hope? For them to remove the army from this country? Like, we don't need them. And he created this scenario that he's coming to save. Save who? Democratic country from who? That was like appalling to everybody. Nobody's getting it. Like, why are you even there? Who are you saving? From whom? So he needs to remove the army from it and never come back. Otherwise, there will be, I don't know, worse scenarios. Ukraine is now being accepted as they apply for the Euro Union to be part of it. So we're seeing now, not the NATO, Euro Union. NATO is another.
Yes.
They're not, because we were asking them, if you look at the history, we were asked to give up the nuclear for the sovereignty, and Russia, Belarus, and there's a couple of countries in the Budapest agreement. They were, you know, that's what happened, and nobody protected us. I'm talking about us as I'm part of them, but yes, I am Canadian now, but I'm still Ukrainian in my soul.
But, you know, prior to that, they kept having talks over and over, and there was different ministers, the British, the German, everyone went there, and he kept telling them, no, I'm not at war. I'm not at war. And then all of a sudden, he just basically lied to everyone.
Yes, yeah.
That's what it's
how can you? You are.
Imagine.
That's not a game. You cannot tell me we're not going to be at war, and you're in front of the cameras telling everyone, no, I'm not at war. It is all going to be fine. Just relax. And then overnight, you just attacks a country. Someone needs to do something about this man.
But as Tetyana says,
it's not normal behavior.
It's not normal. That's what I'm saying. The guy become like a maniac, and nobody can. Yeah. Narcissistic behavior that become now more of a maniac one, right? And having maniac with the button on his command, that's not a safe thing. That's why none of like NATO countries are forcing it, because they don't want a nuclear war. You know, that would be devastating for the whole planet.
Yeah, of course. We all suffered, right?
Yeah.
So we had a question. What do the sunflowers mean? Does that mean freedom?
It's a Ukrainian flower, sunflower.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Great. Good. Any last words before we go?
We all pray for you, guys. All of you. We pray for Ukraine. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming on tonight. We appreciate it. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. This is very serious conversation to have, and I'm happy that we did it. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Good night.
Thank you.
Good night.
Bye,
Bye.
Tetyana.